Good morning. It is 9:06. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. I had to do a double take this morning. Is it really Friday? Did we really make it to the end of the week? We did. And everybody's excited for today except for Bill Clinton, who is going to be deposed. I feel like he's the only one who's got a case of the Mondays on a Friday. Sad. I think he's got a little case of the Mondays. We're going to be paying attention to what happens with Bill Clinton today. I think that's our big story to kick things off. Hillary Clinton deposed yesterday. Bill Clinton going to testify later on today as the Epstein probe continues. Let's begin with Bill Clinton. He's going to be questioned by members of the House Oversight Committee today about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. His behind-closed-doors testimony makes him the first sitting or former president to testify before members of Congress in over 40 years. This is absolutely a big deal. Who knows what's going to come of it? But what we're seeing is, without a doubt, unprecedented. The 79-year-old Bill Clinton follows his Secretary of State wife, Hill Dog, who was questioned under oath for about 6 hours on the same topic yesterday. They have said that video of this deposition is going to be released. Could be as soon as today, and video of Bill Clinton's deposition will be released as well. And we'll have that audio. We'll be looking forward to it. Transcripts are going to be released as soon as lawyers give it the thumbs up, and we'll have the latest for you here on Super Talk. And we're excited to see what comes of it. Yesterday, I don't know about you, but I see Hillary Clinton absolutely losing her mind. She was red-faced mad after wrapping up her hours-long Epstein testimony. And, well, I mean, to be fair, she was mad because Lauren Boebert snapped a picture of her and posted it on the internet via Benny Johnson, which I thought was hilarious. And then they paused the hearing for a little bit, and then Hillary ended up coming back after they said, no, you still have some questions that you need to answer. Hillary was not impressed, and she said, I don't know how many times I had to say I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein.
Challenge in the beginning because we had agreed upon rules based on the fact it was going to be a closed hearing at their demand, and one of the members violated that rule, which was very upsetting because it suggested that they might violate other of our agreements. So we had to cease the hearing for a period of time until we could get assurances that no rules would be broken going forward. And we returned to answer questions repetitively, literally over and over again. I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record.
It is on the record. And Hillary Clinton testified under oath that she doesn't know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. Well, I mean, to be fair, Epstein did go to the White House 16 times while Bill Clinton was in office, and Hillary had an office in the West Wing. And then on top of that, there are lots of emails where Epstein is name-dropping Hillary. Conversations are happening about Hillary. To be fair, let's be fair, Epstein was a known name-dropper. That doesn't mean that they were best of pals. But when Bill Clinton went on the plane 26 times, had Epstein at the White House 16 times, it's really hard to envision a scenario where Hillary Clinton doesn't know Jeffrey Epstein. With the Clinton Global Initiative, with the Clinton Foundation, all of the rumors that Epstein was deeply intertwined with both, it begins to be a bit naive to think Hillary Clinton didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't know him. How many times do I have to say I didn't know him? And I don't know. I hear Hillary Clinton say, I never went to his homes. I never went to his island. I didn't know him. And it just it gives you these vibes like, hey, I
want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Same energy, right? It feels like the same energy. And I think it's also important to point out, Bill Gates denied for weeks, months, years his connections with Epstein until he slowly but surely admitted to everything, even up until just recently. He sent a letter out to the whole Gates Foundation. He's like, gee whiz, Sure am sorry about cheating on my wife with those Russian gals that I met via Jeffrey Epstein. He did say that the STD medication that he was going to slip his wife that he asked Jeffrey Epstein about, that part was not true. Sure thing, bud. Sure thing. Okay. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna was on Jesse Waters' show last night. She's not buying what Hillary's selling when it comes to not having a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Look, I am a candidate. I've been a candidate for office. I'm an elected official. And when you have top tier donors, of which the Epstein Maxwell entire apparatus was, you know the names of your donors and individuals. And I do find it hard to believe that she didn't know of the relationship between the two. Obviously, you had said that, and there is White House logs that Epstein attended the White House many times. There is also two reports of Ghislaine Maxwell kind of in and out of the same circles. And so, I think the question is whether or not they were being targeted, but also to remember, when you hear the Clintons specifically say, oh, well, Bill Clinton cut all ties with Jeffrey Epstein before the actual charges were brought forward. Well, remember, President Trump has said the same thing. And yet the way that the DNC, the way that the Democrats are trying to use this is to smear the president. And I actually brought this up in the press gaggle today, in that we've asked the victims specifically on whether or not President Trump had hurt them. And he was exonerated. He released the files, and they don't want to report that. What they want to try to do is take this and have us say on record whether or not we will subpoena the president to come testify, in which I respond, the president is not considered a person of interest in this investigation. He's been nothing but cooperative, at least with us and members of the task force. And I think that his record will reflect that he has released all files. It was also interesting to note that we inquired on how many files did President Biden release.
Yeah, that would be zero. Actually, that would be zero. It is important to point out that the left will say, but Trump is in the files. It's like, yeah, he is. Like the file where he reached out to Palm Beach Police Department and said, you don't just need to look into Epstein. I'm glad you are, but you need to look into Maxwell as well. She's his operative. She's evil. A lot of mentions of Trump in the files. Yeah. A lot of mentions of Bill Clinton, though. No mention of Bill Clinton reaching out to police to say that they knew what was going on. You have Hillary Clinton deflecting. We're going to see the exact same thing from Bill Clinton today. And House Oversight Chair James Comer wasn't exactly shocked by that, and he definitely wasn't impressed. This was James Comer in the immediate aftermath of the Hillary Clinton deposition.
Lament on that, but we're going to not release too many details of what happened today. We're going to try to get the video out as quickly as possible, hopefully within the next 24 hours. That's a very long deposition, so as quick as we can get that video produced, we will get that out. The transcript will be released as soon as her attorneys approve it. That's the standard rules of a deposition. And I think that this was a productive deposition today. I think we learned a lot. There were a lot of questions that we asked that we weren't satisfied with the answers that we got, but we will continue to move forward. Any of my colleagues, every member of the committee asked questions. And
I would just say one of the things I learned today is if you really have specific questions about the Clinton Global Initiative or the relationship between the Clintons and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, you got to ask Bill Clinton.
And that's a great point. The number of times that she said, I don't know, you'll have to ask my husband, was more than a dozen.
And they're going to have the opportunities to ask Bill Clinton those questions today. The fact that we think that he was tied to the Clinton Global Initiative, that's been a long-standing theory on the internet, that Epstein was one of the godfathers of the Clinton Foundation, if you will. In fact, Cindy McCain, John McCain's the late John McCain's wife, she was super involved with the Clinton Global Initiative. She still is. She was at the Clinton Global Initiative in 2022, featured as a participant. The 2023 Clinton Global Initiative meeting, she participated. She was involved in discussions on stage. The 2025 Clinton Global Initiative annual meeting, she was there at all of these, every step of the way. And in 2021, Cindy McCain was at this at a round table, I guess you could call it, where she was being interviewed, and she had this to say about Epstein.
Plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. but we had no one that was legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him. Plain sight.
Yeah, they were afraid of him. So somebody that was also tied in with the Clinton Global Initiative is on stage admitting that everybody knew who Epstein was. Everybody knew what he was doing. Nobody would go after him legally because they were all afraid of him. But Hillary has no idea. Zero. I refuse to believe that. That's weaponized incompetence. That's not the reality of the situation. Hillary knew, and she's lying. She's lying to people's faces. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna says that Hillary was pressed on Jeffrey Epstein's foreign intelligence ties, which, you know, when you hear Cindy McCain say there was no legal aspect to go after him, we were all afraid of him. That also leans in and gives a bit of credibility to the foreign intelligence ties of Jeffrey Epstein. Anna Paulina Luna last night on Jesse Waters.
You know, there's something in regards to when someone's put under oath, there's protected communications between spouses. And so there was a lot of that. But what I will also say is what's going to be particularly interesting for the president is that, and President Clinton tomorrow, that is, in his depositions, and is that at a certain point, I think that, you know, this does kind of, was this a honeypot operation? Was this intentional? These are all questions. And I will say specifically, Jesse, when I was asking her questions, I was very focused on the potential of the foreign intelligence ties and also, too, about whether or not she believes specifically we should open up investigations into some of these co-conspirators that were women. And that seems to be something that the liberal media does not want to touch or talk about. And so I encourage everyone to look into that because there's a lot there. And I will also state that if you are looking at Jeffrey Epstein's people that he interacted with specifically, I definitely think it's safe to say I think the American people agree with me. And I would say, even though Secretary Clinton might not have been able to officially admit it, that she did seem to at least be perceptive to the idea that he was tied to foreign intelligence. And she also had stated that we should follow up on specific ties with him in regards to the 3 countries that were listed by the Epstein attorneys, Russia, Iran, and Israel, in relationship to whether or not it was potentially a foreign intelligence operation. That was interesting.
That is very interesting. Russia, Iran, Israel. Russia, Iran, Israel. Now, I've heard the Israel one before. The Russia, Iran one is new. I've also heard our own intelligence agencies like the CIA and Britain's intelligence agencies, MI6. I'm not saying it's not the case. It very well could be. I think the fact that Epstein was probably playing intelligence agencies off other intelligence agencies is true. I just hadn't heard Russia and Iran before until last night with Anna Paulina Luna on Jesse Waters' show. James Comer said, guys, this is not just about Democrats. He was asked if they would be interviewing Howard Lutnick, and he said he is absolutely open to that. And I think we all are. And I've made the point on this show, Howard Lutnick lied to the American people. He shouldn't be in his position anymore. Like, this investigation is a big deal to a lot of Americans. And you're losing all the credibility you have when Howard Lutnick is allowed to lie like that and then continue on with his day like nothing ever happened. He was asked, James Comer, is Lutnick going to testify? And he said that's very possible.
We'll do one more question. Go ahead.
So in the spirit of bipartisanship, would you then ask the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to come testify? It seems like he has some information.
That's very possible, and I think I think it's a good possibility that his name will arise in some questioning today.
It'll
maybe
be on my list, and I have an email I printed off for Hillary to ask about Howard Lutnick today.
Okay.
So
God's watching.
We're asking again, and I want to remind everyone: we've already brought in Alex Acosta and Bill Barr for depositions. That's 2 Republicans in the Trump administration. So this isn't just about Democrats.
Listen, I love that energy. It shouldn't just be about Democrats. It should be anybody tied to Epstein going down. And I think everybody agrees with that on both sides of the aisle. Every rock should be unturned. We should look everywhere. Everyone should be questioned, Howard Lutnick included, and there should be no reservations from anyone. Back to Hillary Clinton. She was being asked questions, and she was giving the answers the best ways that she could. She said it got bizarre. It got weird, she said, during the questioning. She was asked about UFOs and Pizzagate.
It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet, that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me.
I think questions should be asked about Pizzagate. I do. You know, the Pizzagate stuff, the core of it was never addressed or resolved. It really was born out of the WikiLeaks emails where John Podesta had some very, very strange emails that included coded language that had been declassified by the FBI relating to pedophilia and child exploitation. And nobody ever asked those questions. And as the Pizzagate stuff started going online, I listen, this is just me. I think that there was a lot of well poisoning where people were pushing even crazier theories about Pizzagate. So that way the original questions about the Podesta emails that were released by Julian Assange, they got lost in the fray. And nobody was able to ask any serious questions about the serious allegations because they were off on a tangent, worried about something else. And I'd also say the James Alefantis stuff, the Comet Ping Pong stuff, there was some there. The Instagram accounts that were subsequently scrubbed when people started digging into them back in the day during Pizzagate in 2015, there was a lot of weird stuff. Again, a lot of coded language that the FBI had declassified about pedophilia. But as the well began to get poisoned and this conspiracy theory got crazier and crazier, the rational questions that were there could no longer be asked. And it seems like that's still happening today. Well, I hope they get to the bottom of it. We'll keep you updated on this as new information becomes available. On the way, I got another piece of audio. Hillary was asked about Ghislaine Maxwell being at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Her answer when we return. It's 9:23 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. When winter storms hit Nashville, they don't mess around. They hit hard. We saw that a couple weeks ago with Winter Storm Fern, power outages, frozen lines, burst pipes. And what starts as a small problem turns into a home disaster fast. This is why now is the perfect time to call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You can get some great savings on some items that will absolutely protect your home, like a whole home surge protector, which right now is 40% off with any electrical repair. Protect your home from sudden outages and damaging voltage spikes before the next storm rolls in. And if freezing temps have already done a number on your pipes, well, Busy Bee is here to help you out. $500 off select whole home water repipes. Fix it the right way right now before a small leak becomes an expensive flood. And if you're dealing with a stubborn clog, the 93 or free mainline residential special is still happening. Either they clear the line for $93 or you don't pay for it. Simple as that. This winter, stay safe, stay warm, stay ahead of the damage with my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
up ahead, a big drug bust in Nashville and the Pentagon's 5 p.m. deadline today. It's all about AI and the military. Those stories at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 9:29, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Joan Jones in the newsroom. Headlines in less than a minute. Hillary Clinton was deposed yesterday. Bill Clinton is on the agenda for today. Hillary was asked about Ghislaine Maxwell being at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. I would imagine Bill Clinton is going to be asked the same questions. When Hillary was asked about it by a reporter after being deposed, this was her response.
Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to my daughter Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010? She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted before that.
She came as the plus one, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye-bye. I know everyone's follow-up question would be, well, who was the person that invited her as the plus one? And I know that is probably on the tip of everyone's tongue, so no more questions. Thank you very much. I hope they ask Bill today, who invited Ghislaine Maxwell to your wedding, and we get a clear answer. I'm also very much looking forward to the videos of the deposition of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton that hopefully, fingers crossed, we get as early as this weekend. It's 9:31. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And Metro Nashville police are hailing a drug bust in South Nashville. They say helped to make a dent in the drug trade in the Music City. 3 men arrested Tuesday night after police seized pounds of cocaine, fentanyl, meth, and marijuana. And it came after a traffic stop.
Drugs are off the market in Nashville. Police say Tuesday night, a Chevy Silverado was pulled over for a traffic stop after running a red light. That stop later led officers to the driver's home where they found more drugs. Officers also saw 2 other suspects stowing drugs into a truck.
That's News 2's Kenley Hargett. Now, he also spoke to Lieutenant Shannon Haflin at the Cheatham County Sheriff's Office about the latest drug trends.
In Cheatham County, we have seen a significant decrease in the number of overdose fatalities since Donald Trump has taken over.
Now, News 2 says it remains unclear where the drugs from Tuesday night seizure came from, but the Justice Department reports a majority of drugs come from the southern U.S. border. The Pentagon has given Anthropic until the close of business today to agree to its terms for using its artificial intelligence in the military, or the Pentagon is going to terminate the partnership.
You've probably used ChatGPT before, I am assuming, but you may not have used a similar AI tool called Claude, and that's made by the company Anthropic. It is one of the biggest AI companies in the world, and its technology is so advanced that even the U.S. military uses it.
That is ABC's Selena Wang. Now, War Secretary Pete Hegseth has threatened to label the company a supply chain risk or to force it to comply by invoking the Defense Production Act. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for you, my friends at United Structural Systems. A couple weeks ago, Tennessee took a hard hit from some severe weather during Winter Storm Fern. It was freezing, then the ice melted, then we had flooded homes, damaged schools, saturated ground and foundations, which was just completely stressed out by the snow, the ice, the melting water. And when that happens, you don't want excuses. You want help that actually shows up. This is why I need to tell you about United Structural Systems. They've been doing the work since 1994, helping thousands of Tennessee families and businesses repair foundation damage caused by severe weather, the kind we see year after year. These guys are experts. This isn't their first rodeo. They don't just fix structures. They restore stability, safety, and peace of mind, and they live out those values in the community. In early March, USS is going to be jumping in again with Habitat for Humanity, marking their 10th Habitat build. This is a major milestone, and Shout out to USS for doing this. They're going to be in Ashland City with around 25 volunteers, framing and installing roof trusses for a family in need. This is what it looks like to show up when it matters most. If you're dealing with foundation issues, especially after severe weather, connect with a company committed to quality and community. Connect with USS. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems, USSTN.com. It's 9:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got the Republicans from the House Oversight Committee giving a press conference now ahead of Bill Clinton's deposition. We'll bring you some audio from that on the way. We are talking about what we saw yesterday with Hillary Clinton over there at in New York. They did it in, was it Chappaqua, New York? Chappaqua. So that's, I don't know why she didn't have to go to them. Like, they're already, like, conceding and giving her special treatment. Same with Bill. Doesn't it feel like that just by going to Chappaqua? It's like you're already rolling out the red carpet for these scumbags. We'll see what happens, and we'll keep you updated on all of that. One of the big stories yesterday, though, around this deposition was that Lauren Boebert posted that picture. Well, she didn't technically post it. She texted a picture of Hillary Clinton in the deposition looking just like an evil witch. And she texted it to Benny Johnson. And Benny Johnson posted the photo, which is what caused the deposition to get shut down for, what was it, like an hour or so? As everybody beat and moaned and whined and cried. And lawyers did what lawyers do. And then they eventually started it back up again. Lauren Boebert was asked Why did you send Benny Johnson the picture? This is what that exchange sounded like.
I really admired her blue suit, so I wanted to capture that for everyone.
Why did you send the picture? Why did you send the picture?
Why not?
Why not? I really admired her blue suit. Wanted everyone to see it. Why not? I like Lauren Boebert a lot, and I'm here for it. And I want to see these video depositions. I think that is going to give us a really full picture of what exactly went down, because it's not just the answers that you're listening for. The transcript is one thing, and the transcript will be great, and that's fine. But the video is going to show us the body language. The video is going to show us the squirming. The video is going to show us when she's uncomfortable. The video is going to show us when a question touches a nerve and when it doesn't. I mean, there's going to be so much more that we can learn from the video than we can from the transcript. And I just pray that it's released over the weekend so we have time to disseminate it, and our friends in the listening audience and internet audience with the weaponized autism can do what they do and just go through those 6 hours of video for Hillary and the 6 hours of video for Bill and get us the most powerful clips, and then spread them far and wide on the internet. We'll see what happens, and we'll keep you updated. I do think that all of this is going to end up looking good for President Trump. He's mentioned in the files, yet when the accusations against him of nefarious wrongdoing come up, they are quickly debunked. Most of those mentions in the files have been pre-bunked, if you will, by FBI's of the past, who looked into these claims and said they're not credible at all. And then you have other files that have been confirmed where it's President Trump reaching out to police asking for help. Yet at the same time, the Democrats will still try and give Bill and Hillary a pass while they try and bludgeon Trump with all of this, because that's what it's always been about. It's always been about hurting Trump. It's not about the victims. They could give a damn. It's about stopping Donald Trump. So they're going to use this as long as it's effective. Scott Jennings essentially eviscerated that argument last night on CNN.
Regarding Trump, I mean, if they end up asking him questions, I assume he's going to end up testifying somewhat about the whistleblower status that he has in these files. I mean, the only real true thing that we know is that he called up the police in Florida and said, you need to look at this. You need to look at this guy. You need to look at Ghislaine Maxwell. He was telling them, he was warning them about what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. And although you're being quite clear that the president has never been accused of anything, any wrongdoing, you have Democrat after Democrat after Democrat, even Hillary Clinton just a little while ago, all too happy to go on television and cast aspersions on his character using this idea that, well, his name appears in the files. They're trying to mislead the American people. It's the Steele dossier all over again. That's all this is.
No,
Let's just throw out some things and hope it sticks, even though there's no evidence whatsoever.
Hold on. The Steele dossier is completely unrelated to what we're talking about
here.
It is.
No. This is the Steele dossier. This is the Steele dossier 2.0. Remember the hoax when they said Donald Trump was getting peed on by Russian hookers? Oh my gosh! And Vladimir Putin has it on video, and he's got him by the short and curlies because of it. We all remember that, and it was a lie. And oh, by the way, who financed the Steele dossier? Who paid for it? Who pushed it? Oh, that was also the Clinton camp. Weird how that happens. Isn't that strange? This is very similar to that. You're pushing lies, again, to hurt the president with no actual evidence.
It is, because it was a bunch of uncorroborated crap, and you're trying to stick it to the guy.
That's not what I'm doing.
The Democrats.
The thing, if Donald Trump is in fact the whistleblower, and it is shown to be the whistleblower exclusively in these files, why did he fight so hard to prevent Congress from passing this law in the first place?
He signed the law, and they released millions of
documents. He brought members of Congress to the situation to try to convince them not to pass it.
I mean, he did raise a legitimate issue, which is when you start dumping unredacted and uncorroborated documents out into the public domain, people who have nothing to do with it could be getting hurt, and that's already happened. We had a Democrat member of Congress, Ro Khanna, go down to the House floor and dox 4 guys who had nothing to do with it. So he did raise a legitimate issue, but
he did raise a legitimate issue. And one of the things that Donald Trump has done when he's raised these issues is he hasn't been frothing at the mouth and unhinged. The same can't be said about Hillary Clinton yesterday. It just can't. Reports are coming out now that Hillary was screaming during the deposition yesterday. Screaming. I don't know. Does that sound like someone who is innocent? I don't think so. James Comer moments ago was saying that it was time after time Hillary Clinton threw Bill under the bus at the Epstein testimony.
For these depositions of great power and great wealth, and I used yesterday and today as an example, it took 7 months to get the Clintons in here. But we've got them in here, and we look forward to asking lots of questions that I think any curious media outlet in America would have. Yesterday, Ms. Clinton deferred a lot of questions to her husband today. There were at least a dozen times when she said, "You'll have to ask my husband that. I can't answer that." So we already had a big portfolio of questions for him, and that increased yesterday. So we look forward to that. We'll be happy to answer a couple of questions.
Mr. Chairman.
They're also saying that Comer will be sending members out intermittently to give updates. That's a tip I got from Joan Jones in the newsroom. Shout out to Joan. She doesn't spend all day looking at pictures of John Thune. She does do a lot of research back there at the exact same time.
But he is on my wall.
Yes, she's the only news person in America with a framed picture of John Thune in the office. It's so weird. It's strange. But no, I digress. This is going to be fascinating when we get the video. It really is. I mean, is it true? Like, when Nancy Mace says that Hillary was screaming yesterday during the deposition, I want to see the context of that, and I think all Americans do. But it doesn't sound like someone who's innocent. If you're innocent, you just let this stuff roll off your back. But it doesn't seem like they're doing that at all. It seems like they're denying any and all involvement, knowing Jeffrey Epstein at all, and then frothing at the mouth and yelling when asked questions about it. We're looking forward to this video. We really are. Yesterday, Ana Navarro was making the case that if they hauled the Clintons' asses in to testify, then they should bring Trump in too. And you know what I would say to that, just as a conservative and as a Trump guy? Yeah, do it. That'd be great, actually. Why not? Do it. Depose the president, do it on video and release it. And then let the American people see those two images side by side and make a determination. Ana Navarro had the idea, and I don't find myself agreeing with Ana Navarro all the time, but when she said they should all in Trump too, I said, yeah, go for it, actually. I think that actually is a great idea. She was going at it, though, with Jason Rantz on CNN. And Jason Rantz made the point, and it's a good point, well, they actually had 4 years to do that while Joe Biden was in the White House, and they chose not to. Why is that?
And I think that if they're going to haul the Clintons' asses in to testify, then they should haul Trump's as well, because he knew Epstein incredibly well for over a decade. They were best friends.
They had 4 years to do that. They chose not to because they didn't find any specific evidence that tied them.
Shame on Merrick Garland. I think Merrick Garland didn't act. I think.
Why didn't he act?
Because he was afraid of his own shadow. Because he was afraid of his own reputation and of being seen as too political.
Okay,
we saw.
So everyone else.
This is the guy that prosecuted Joe
went
Biden's
after Donald
son.
Trump.
This is the guy who appointed a special counsel.
But just Merrick Garland didn't. I reject
Merrick Garland
that
was too worried about his own reputation.
I mean, that's just the Merrick Garland was worried about his own reputation is just bovine scatology. I mean, this is the same FBI that raided Mar-a-Lago, the same FBI that rifled through Melania's underwear drawer and flipped over Barron Trump's mattress. Yeah, there were points in there where they did charge Hunter Biden, and that's what she said. Oh, they charged Hunter, but no, they didn't charge him with anything real. And what did he get? A little slap on the wrist and a pardon from Dad. But Jason Rantz says something that's important here. He says, is it possible that Merrick Garland didn't act when it came to Epstein because there wasn't a crime that was committed by Trump? Is that a possibility?
Is it possible
he should have acted.
That he didn't act because there wasn't actually a crime that was committed by Donald Trump? Is that possible?
Let me ask you a question.
Is that possible?
Is it also
It's not possible. So you say that Donald Trump committed a crime?
No, I'm not saying that Donald Trump committed a crime.
But I'm asking you, is it possible that they actually did look at the documentation, the Biden administration, which obviously had reason to go after Donald Trump, they didn't find anything, and that's the reason why they didn't bring it up.
And they didn't release it. Why they didn't release it? Because Merrick Garland made a mistake, and he too should answer.
But you won't say it's possible that he didn't commit a crime.
I don't know if he committed a crime or not.
I don't know if he committed a crime or not. I don't know. But I do know that Merrick Garland was too scared to go after him. Okay. So, I mean, like that last answer sounds like she's covering her butt just that way she doesn't get sued. But, it's insane. These people are insane. Is it possible? Yeah, it's absolutely possible. In fact, I think that's probably the closest thing to the truth. They went after Donald Trump for any reason under the sun. If they thought they had just the smallest chance of getting him, they threw charges at him. I mean, we saw it with the 34 felonies and all the lawsuits and Letitia James and Hack Smith and the Mar-a-Lago raid. Time and time and time again, they were going after Donald Trump. They didn't want Donald Trump back in the White House. So is it possible that they looked into the Epstein files and there was nothing there? 100%. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Rick is in Columbia. What's up, Rick? How are you?
Good morning, Chris. Chris, in my retirement years, there are now only two things that I have to do each morning, and that is turn on the coffee pot and the Chris Haynes Show. I got to have you every day, my friend.
Let's go, man. I appreciate it.
Listen, concerning the Clintons' depositions, I would be shocked if anything comes of this. For whatever reason, maybe you can help me understand this, but this great country of ours, over the years, our country has time after time allowed these scumbag Clintons to avoid accountability for any wrongdoings or crimes, and I don't see that changing at all. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, you're probably closer to the truth. I'm going to continue to remain hopeful and optimistic. However, I do think everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt. It is James Comer, after all, who talks a great game, yet we saw where all those Biden investigations went. Absolutely nowhere. And at the end of the day, I feel a lot like Tim Burchett. He posted a video yesterday where Burchett is like, these people need to be taken down, and they need to be taken care of. Tim Burchett went on a fiery rant yesterday. Well, I don't think I can do it any justice explaining it. I'll just play it for you.
Hey, everybody, Tim Burchett. I woke up this morning thinking about some stuff, and this stuff kind of makes me angry. You know, I hear people saying, no, they're trafficking. Well, we got to get that straight. They're pimps. And when they say trafficking young kids for across state lines for sex with adults, no, they're not. They're selling these kids to get raped.
Yep.
I think we try to sanitize stuff. You know, in Hollywood, you know, shows the pimp and dressed in the fine clothes and the nice car and, you know, talking tough and all that. And that's all these people are. They're awful, awful, demonic people.
Yep.
And they deserve to burn in hell. And people say, oh, Burchett, you don't want to hang those people. The hell I don't. Bring them out to the farm. We'll take care of them. And I am not kidding you. We've got to start taking this stuff serious in this country, folks. And, you know, the way the left and I guess we all are guilty of it. We try to sanitize it so it doesn't affect our psyche or our conscience. But this stuff's going on right now. It's going on in your community. It's going on in my community.
He's absolutely right that we do need accountability. The American people are demanding accountability. We want to see what we're seeing in the UK happening here in America, where the highest of the elite power structures are being taken down. That's what we want. The Trump administration needs to do something. They need to act. It's the most infuriating thing because it's within reach. It is absolutely within their realm of influence where they could do it today if they wanted to. Yet it seems like we're just sitting on our hands and we're getting a lot of podium talk, but no actual action. It's frustrating. 9:52 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Coming up, what happened in Israel this morning that may signal the U.S. is ready to strike in Iran. That's coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Lindsey Graham, he's getting excited. He's getting very excited.
Sad.
It's 9:58. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Headlines with Joan Jones in less than 2 minutes. Something that I think you could say it's related to the Epstein stuff. It's within the orbit. Lauren Boebert and Tim Burchett. It's related yet unrelated, right? Like it's not exactly on the same track, but it rhymes. Lauren Boebert and Tim Burchett, they're working on releasing the names of people that have used the Congressional Slush Fund to pay off victims of sexual misconduct by members of Congress. Tim Burchett said he's launching hearings to determine how many federal dollars were spent in the Congressional Slush Fund to pay off victims after being asked by Anna Paulina Luna to do that. Tim said, absolutely, yes. The Washington Examiner has an exclusive on this. Tim Burchett will use one of his first hearings as chairman of the House Government Efficiency Subcommittee to investigate allegations of sexual misconduct by lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Burchett told the Washington Examiner that he would open an investigation into the slush fund for workplace disputes, including allegations of sexual harassments by members of Congress. A 2018 bill passed in the midst of the Me Too movement updated the law to force lawmakers to foot the bill for those expenses. But the settlements are receiving renewed attention amid the revelations that Rep. Tony Gonzalez allegedly sent explicit texts to a staffer who later died by setting herself on fire. So we got a growing number of House Republicans, many of them women, denouncing Gonzalez, calling on him to resign over the scandal. And Anna Paulina Luna, a member of the panel who earlier on Thursday asked Burchett to probe the settlements, and Burchett said, yeah, I'm in. I'm down. I love it. Expose everybody. Now, to be fair, in the Congressional Slush Fund, there are going to be allegations that were paid off because it was easier to do that than go through the entire process. Doesn't make it right, but that is just a simple fact with how some of this stuff works. It's called extortion. So it does happen from time to time with innocent people. But I'm here for it. In an interview, Burchett called the investigation a matter of transparency and said he would make the payouts the subject of his third hearing since taking over chairmanship from former Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene in January. Looking forward to this, and I know it's making a lot of people in D.C. very uncomfortable. It's 10 o'clock, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And the talks between the U.S. and Iran ended in Geneva yesterday with no breakthrough. Tehran reaffirming that it refuses to halt uranium enrichment, and Washington continues to demand deeper concessions. Meantime, the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem has told its employees they may leave Israel immediately, and that's a rare step that underscores growing concern over the possibility of an American strike on Iran. The New York Times reporting it has reviewed an email from Ambassador Mike Huckabee telling staffers that the mission had shifted to authorized departure status and urged anyone wishing to leave to secure a flight today, warning that its seats could quickly disappear. Not good signs for sure. And just crossing the wires, China has also told all of its citizens in Iran to leave immediately. The deposition of Bill Clinton getting underway at this hour, and James Comer, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, says it was Hillary Clinton that gave them so many questions they'll be asking of Bill Clinton today.
There's so many examples in the evidence the Department of Justice released in correspondence where Epstein bragged about how involved he was initially in setting up the Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation. We asked those questions to Secretary Clinton yesterday, and she kept saying, well, she was in the Senate at that time. She wasn't focused on it. You'll have to ask my husband. So
they will, he says. Hillary Clinton told lawmakers that she could not recall any contact with Epstein. Bill Clinton's photos appeared dozens of times in the Epstein files, and he is documented to have flown on Epstein's plane dozens of times as well. Still no sign of a man accused of firing on a Memphis police officer overnight and escaping. 40-year-old Darnell Maxwell is still on the loose, and it's the reason your phone may have sounded an alert around midnight last night, a statewide blue alert issued by TBI. The officer is said to be in critical but stable condition. Senate Republican leadership refusing to bring the Voting Act to the floor. Now ABC News reports that President Trump will take action to force voter ID for midterm elections.
Now we have learned that the president has reviewed this draft executive order, which would declare a national emergency, then giving him sweeping power over voting. Now, it's not clear if the president is actually going to act on this proposal, but he has reviewed it. And we do know that he is considering taking executive action, posting recently, quote, there will be voter ID for the midterm elections, whether approved by Congress or not.
That's ABC's Mary Bruce. And as of yesterday in Kansas, driver's licenses and birth certificates that were issued for transgender residents who had changed their sex designation, they're no longer valid after a new state law took effect. And also, there's no grace period for those who need to update their IDs. That change affects roughly 1,700 people in Kansas. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We ask that you hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel and help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. We appreciate you guys watching us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. We appreciate you listening, too, if you're on the FM dial, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, wherever you're at. Thank you for joining the Chris Hand Show. Mason Fleming's producing, Joan Jones in the newsroom, and the Save Act stalled. Is it stalled? Is that what we're doing? It looks like it's stalling. There's not enough time, guys. There's not enough time. There's time for dog parades, but not time to, get done the agenda of the Trump administration. Did you see that? The Senate actually had a dog parade the other day?
Yeah.
A dog parade. A freaking dog parade. What are you guys doing? It's so embarrassing.
Wild.
John Thune literally said, time is a commodity. And I don't know if we have enough time to get this done. We have so many priorities. Like a dog parade. Like a dog parade. The AP, Associated Press, has the story. Republican voter ID bill stalls in the Senate despite Trump demands. This comes after a day where Donald Trump had a sit-down meeting with John Thune and other members of Congress. And he sat down and he's like, guys, we got to get my agenda through. And now we're getting the story from AP that it is stalled. This was posted about 6 o'clock last night. Election year legislation to impose strict new proof of citizenship requirements. I love this. That's like the subtle bias from the AP. Is it strict? Is it strict to have the people voting in your elections prove that they should be voting in the election? It's so strict. Gosh. Oh my gosh. The first sentence in. The subtle bias is already there. Election year legislation to impose strict new proof of citizenship requirements on voting appears to stall in the Senate for now, despite President Trump's call in a State of the Union speech that Republicans in Congress passed the bill before anything else. Remember, he side-eyed John Thune. He said, you got to get it done, John. You got to get it done. He said, yeah, it's Mr. President, Mr. President. Have you seen my pug? John, what are you doing? John Thune. What kind of dog does John Thune have? It's probably a Shih Tzu. Seems like the kind of guy that would have a Chinese dog. Very low-testing Chinese dog. Trump's push for the bill, backed by House conservatives and his most loyal supporters ahead of the midterm elections, has put new pressure on John Thune as he tries to navigate an effort from inside and outside Congress to bypass normal Senate procedure. Thune said he supports the legislation and that his GOP conference is still discussing how to pass it. Senate Republicans aren't unified on an approach, Thune said on Wednesday after Trump's speech. In an effort to get around the Democratic opposition, Trump and others have pushed a so-called talking filibuster. I love, again, the subtle bias from the Associated Press. A so-called talking filibuster. It's just, no, this is something that's been on the books. You can do it. People have done it. People have done it a lot. The new way is actually the one that's an issue, where you can just filibuster without having to put the work in. That's not cool. They said it would bring the Senate back to the old days of the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, when senators talked indefinitely to block legislation. Yeah, they would have to. And I love how they put a spin on it like, oh, it's so old-fashioned. They want to take us back to the old days. Remember what else was happening in the old days? Slavery, Jim Crow. We don't want to go back. We got to move forward. The bias is so subtle in these articles. The AP is supposed to be unbiased, just factual, but no, the bias is baked into the cake. Oh, they want to take us way back, when senators would talk indefinitely to block legislation. Today, the Senate mostly skips the speeches and votes to end the debate, which takes 60 votes in the Senate, where the Republicans have a 53-47 majority. If they did the talking filibuster, people would get tired out, and then we would only need 50 plus 1. And we have the 50 plus 1 votes. That's weird. It's weird. Again, the only ones that are against this are, Mitch McConnell, Tom Tillis, Lisa Murkowski, and I'm drawing a blank on the last one. But it's like there are members of the Senate that have said we have the 50 votes to get it across the line. Even Susan Collins out of Maine is in on the Save America Act. Republicans wouldn't have to change the rules to force a talkathon. They simply keep the Senate open and make Democrats deliver speeches for days or weeks to delay taking up the legislation. But Thune would still need enough support from his caucus to move forward with that approach, and he said this week that we aren't there yet. I think John Thune is weak. I've made this case before. I think John Thune is absolutely weak. That's where we stand on the Save America Act. Why on earth would we need Save America Act? You know, guys, voter fraud is happening at such a low level, and it wouldn't affect anything.
First tonight, voter fraud allegations rocking a small town in South Alabama. 3 people arrested accused of filling out bogus absentee ballots.
That's a story we broke on all of our digital platforms this afternoon.
Oh, what's that? Just another story about voter fraud? It seems like every day we get another story about voter fraud. And it's not always a kooky one like the woman who registered her dog to vote. There's a lot of issues when it comes to voter fraud.
Our Natalie Williamson has your late reporting from Frisco City in Monroe County.
Natalie, the accusations are related to last year's municipal election there.
That's right, Lenise and Cameron. The 3 women were arrested today for voter fraud in connection to the Frisco City municipal election last August. This big development follows a lawsuit that was filed, which also alleges wrongdoing in the August election. Tonight, election cheating allegations in small-town Alabama. 3 women accused of rigging a bunch of absentee ballots. Court documents filed today in Monroe County reveal a grand jury indicted 67-year-old Sharon Denson, 46-year-old Samantha Kiles, and 59-year-old Sarah Bennett for illegally filling out and submitting ballots during the Frisco City municipal election in August of 2025. Those same records show Denson changed 7 people's ballots. Kiles altered 4 people's ballots, and Bennett changed 9 people's ballots.
Now, it doesn't seem like huge numbers. I mean, let's be honest. It doesn't seem like huge numbers. But is it acceptable to even allow one? And the answer would be no. No. This was mail-in ballot fraud. If we eliminated mail-in ballots, guess what we would eliminate here? Oh, yep, you guessed it, the fraud.
The criminal charges follow a civil lawsuit that was filed last September by former Frisco City Mayor Alan Lang, who lost the August election. In it, Lang is challenging the vote count, saying 131 illegal absentee ballots were counted, which changed the results. According to the lawsuit, 85 people falsely claimed they would work a 10-hour shift on Election Day to justify voting absentee. 33 people claimed they were physically disabled and couldn't vote in person, and at least 13 people who didn't live in the town voted.
Now, this story alone isn't a massive news story, but it's like when we constantly have little story like this popping up, and little story like this popping up, and we know that there's no real effort to quell this kind of stuff, you have to ask the question, is it happening everywhere and at what scale? This happened in southern Alabama. So now, tell me what's happening in Southern California. Is it better or is it worse? Now let's do Minnesota. Then let's do New York. How about we take a look at Illinois? We need to keep pushing. This is a huge deal before the midterms. Now, before the midterms, we might get some major election changes anyway. A group of pro-Trump attorneys and supporters are circulating a draft of an executive order, a potential executive order, that uses alleged Chinese interference in the 2020 election to justify a national emergency declaration that they claim would give President Trump sweeping power over voting, multiple sources told ABC News. The 17-page draft order, which sources say Trump has reviewed, would mandate the use of voter ID and hand-counted ballots and ban mail-in ballots ahead of the upcoming midterm election. So that issue that you just heard about in Alabama wouldn't be an issue when it came to the midterms. Also, weird things like 20,000 IDs being sent to America from China wouldn't be a thing. The president has the authority to do this, and I think this is why DNI Gabbard was at the Fulton County scene looking into this, and I'm curious to see where this goes. The attorneys pushing the draft order said they anticipate it would be incorporated into a planned executive order, which they expect to be issued soon. It's not clear if Trump is considering or will ultimately issue this order, but it is a lot of talk, especially on some of these leftist networks. They're going to say Trump is going to rig the elections. And if he does go through with this, it's because he's trying to secure the elections. At this point, it's got to be ASAP because we got primaries, said Florida attorney Peter Tickton, who told ABC News on Thursday that he has been in contact with the White House about that draft order. Tickton also represents former Colorado County Clerk Tina Peters, who was in prison for breaking into voting equipment, said the emergency declaration would empower Trump to ban electronic voting machines and mail-in ballots because they could be tools used for foreign interference. I wonder where this goes. And I wonder if they're planning this executive order, if they're going to drop a bomb when it comes to what we saw happen in 2020. And maybe there was some truth to those conspiracy theories about China hacking the machines or Venezuela hacking the machines. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'd love to see it investigated and fleshed out. We'll see what happens with this executive order that the president is planning. One thing is for sure, though, it would have to be President Trump because, again, John Thune isn't looking forward to securing our elections. He's got a dog show to plan. Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be a second one. If you're going to do one dog show, you better do two. Maybe it would be a cat show next. Maybe.
Seems like a big rat guy.
Yeah, he does seem like a big rat guy, doesn't he? Unbelievable. A new ad is now airing demanding the Senate pass the Save America Act with 50+1 votes. This ad has been going viral, and I think we need to play the ad for y'all.
The House Freedom Caucus led in passing the Save America Act in the House to require voter ID and citizenship to vote in federal elections. Now it goes to the Senate. You're going to hear the excuse that it needs 60 votes to pass there, but that's not true. Senate rules allow bringing the Save America Act to the floor at any time. If 51 Republicans show up, Democrats would have to filibuster, standing and talking, hour after hour to block it. As long as Republicans show a backbone and stay united, Democrats will eventually run out of time to talk. Tell your senator to make the Democrats actually debate instead of just giving in to them. The House Freedom Caucus says the Senate should support President Trump and the House in passing this law essential to saving America. The Freedom Caucus Foundation is responsible for this ad.
The only thing that I would see being an issue, the ad laid out, would be Republicans having a spine and standing united. I think other than that, I think we could get it done. If it wasn't the having a spine part and standing united. One of the things one of the reasons why I think we do need the Save America Act is because I do believe that there's voter fraud happening. And one of the reasons I believe there's voter fraud happening is because of all the fraud that's happening. When you take a step back and you realize how much fraud is going on in so many different cities when it comes to the autism scams, the daycare scams, the hospice scams, the non-emergency medical transportation scams, and you realize all of this fraud, you stop and you say to yourself, if they're willing to do this, why wouldn't they be willing to do that? And the easy answer is, well, they would absolutely be willing to do that. And the fraud has been exposed at levels that we never thought possible. Was it $19 billion in Minnesota is the estimated amount? We're estimating 50 plus billion in California. Nick Shirley was talking about the fraudsters and the scammers on Fox News yesterday. This comes just a couple days after J.D. Vance and Mehmet Oz decided to withhold some federal tax money from Minnesota, the reimbursement payment for some of their Medicare dollars. Nick Shirley was talking about it on Fox News.
To fraud the government. They're using children, they're using the autistic children, and they're using old people to take millions and billions of dollars from the state and giving it to fraudsters and the federal government as well. So that's why you see people like Dr. Oz going, and they're like major props to him because they're cracking down on this fraud because they are literally defrauding American citizens of billions of dollars.
It's amazing. And, you said in some cases parents will, basically pretend, and these centers don't necessarily need a license. And in some cases, a child is being sent for autism therapy, and maybe they went like 20 minutes in a month or something like that?
Yeah, nobody really knows. And we know that when I went there to one of these autism centers in my YouTube video, they wouldn't even let me check in little Joey, my son. If he was autistic, they wouldn't even give me papers to check him in. And so what we think is happening and what's been proven to happen is that these people are getting kickbacks from these autism centers when they go and enroll their child because, over a 10,000% increase in funding. Is there a 10,000 increase of children with autism?
Doubtful. We'll talk a little bit more about fraud on the way. I got more from Minnesota and how that autism money has been spent and how it has increased. It's actually insane. Just let me give you a little spoiler. The amount of taxpayer dollars being used on autism spending in Minnesota since Tim Walz took over has gone up 34,000%. I'll bring you the exact breakdown when we return. It's 10:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 1022 on Super Talk. Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. If you're a gun owner and you need a safe, you need to listen closely. If your safe can be tipped over, pried open, attacked with basic tools, that, my friends, is not a safe. What you own is a filing cabinet. Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville, they don't sell filing cabinets. They sell serious heavy-duty safes, including UL-rated, TL, and TR models designed to withstand real-world attacks. We're talking tools, torches, time. These aren't just for firearms. They're ideal for anything you got to protect, from your wife's jewelry to the family's passports to photo albums you don't want to lose in a fire to gold and silver, things that you can't afford to lose. Aaron Parker knows security. He's a veteran with Air Force security experience, former park ranger, Christian family business, run, operated by Aaron and his sons. They handle delivery and installation themselves discreetly and professionally. While they're based in Shelbyville, they deliver all over Middle Tennessee. They've even been known to deliver into Kentucky and Missouri. Shelbyville is not a different country. They can bring the right safe to you. Find out what the right safe is for you. Aaron Parker does a detailed video review of every safe in stock on his YouTube page. Just search for Parker Safes on YouTube or check out the whole inventory online, parkersafes.com. Parker Safes and Vaults, no gimmicks, just real protection, parkersafes.com.
She was screaming what one member of the House Oversight Committee had to say about Hillary Clinton's deposition yesterday. Her husband is on the hot seat right now. Got those stories coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand, 1027 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're talking about the Save America Act a little while ago. Dog shows are obviously more important than securing our elections. So John Thune is dragging his feet. Why do we need it? Because I think we understand that the election system is being gamed. I think that's the best way to put it. The system's being gamed by illegal aliens, by fraudsters, by the mail-in ballots. And I think we have to look no further than the fraud that's been exposed in Minnesota. And it kind of gives you the eye-opening revelation that if they're willing to do that, what aren't they willing to do? And in Minnesota, the fraud is insane. Since Tim Walz took the governorship, we've seen the rise in autism program repayments balloon from $1 million in 2017 to $343 million in 2024.
Less than $2 million. By 2019, word got out that money was available, and then when COVID hit, the money really started moving until we see in 2024 almost $350 million paid out for autism treatment. Quite an increase in cases.
Yeah, no kidding. And you saw essentially a doubling of the money every single year. Just year over year, at least a doubling of the amount of money being spent on it. And everybody thought this is fine. And everybody thinks in Minnesota, they barely understand that this is even happening. I mean, nobody's talking about it. And Tim Walz, when he does talk about it, he says, guys, trust me, I'm looking into it. And it's like, how can you trust the current governor of Minnesota who allowed this fraud to balloon underneath him and then decided that the fraud was too big of a mountain to climb when it came to his reelection bid, so he just decided not to run for reelection. Tim Walz, though, says, guys, you can trust me.
I don't know why this is so hard to understand, and I will continue to say this. You can trust me on this. The person who's angriest about this fraud is me.
Oh, yeah, you can trust Tim Walz. Don't worry. Stop asking questions. Tim is looking into it. Okay. You can trust him. You can trust him. Unrelated to the fraud, but also in Minnesota, a big story. Maybe you've seen the viral video a couple days ago where there was an 18-wheeler driving down the wrong side of the highway in the state of Missouri, absolutely barreling down the highway. He went for about 3 miles, going like 50 miles per hour, the wrong side of a highway. He didn't cause any crashes by the grace of God, almost caused a few head-on collisions. But this video went viral everywhere. And as people started digging into it, they found out the driver was given his CDL from Minnesota.
An 18-wheeler barreling down the highway into oncoming traffic. The witness who recorded this video says they almost had a head-on collision with the semi before turning around and recording it going in the wrong direction. And instead of pulling over once they saw cars flying right at them, the witness says the semi sped up and was hitting 50 miles per hour.
Insane.
Going the wrong way for nearly 3 miles. Miraculously, they didn't hit anyone, and Missouri Highway Patrol eventually pulled over that driver who had a legal commercial driver's license from Minnesota. But Highway Patrol says during that stop, our commercial vehicle enforcement troopers conducted a driver inspection and determined the driver could not properly identify road signs, as mandated by federal motor carrier regulations. Per federal motor carrier guidelines, he was placed out of service and not allowed to continue driving.
He should have never been driving in the first place, and if a state was run properly, he wouldn't have been. Yet, as we all know, Minnesota is the S-hole we all thought it was, and they just give away CDLs to anybody. All you got to do is show up, breathe a little bit of oxygen, and you too could get a CDL in Minnesota. It's insane, the amount of problems in that state and blue states across the country. The Trump administration needs to get this under control. They need to get a lot of things under control. Luckily, this administration can walk and chew gum at the same time. 1031, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're starting off with an alert here about traffic on 840 westbound side this morning. A car fire. It's near mile marker 39 in Williamson County, causing a delay. Also, big headaches on 24 West and Whites Creek, where they're still doing paving work at this hour, and only one lane between Old Hickory Boulevard North and Whites Creek, and that is causing a huge backup as well. The deposition of former President Bill Clinton underway right now. Questions on his Epstein connections before Republican lawmakers headed into the proceedings, though. This question to South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace about yesterday's questions with former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
Ms. Mace, what do you mean that Hillary Clinton was screaming?
She was unhinged, and I hope that President Clinton is less unhinged today than his wife was yesterday. You'll see it.
The House Oversight Committee says they will release the video of the questioning, but they would not say if it will be redacted. Well, now the Department of Homeland Security has confirmed that it will not secure an ICE facility in Lebanon, But there are still questions about whether another location is being scouted. News 2's Tori Gessner spoke with House Speaker Cameron Sexton about that.
I mean, they're not going to call and talk to us and get our approval, whether or not we've heard or talked or heard rumors, speculation, or conversations, but it's totally up to them. And so I'm not going to talk about any of those conversations if I've had or haven't had them.
House Speaker Cameron Sexton not denying the possibility of an ICE facility in another part of Tennessee. He says the agency is welcome in the volunteer state.
When we try to build a new prison, and people are like, well, we need a new prison, but I don't want it in my backyard. That's usually the sentiment, and it has to go somewhere. So, we'll see what the federal government decides that they want to do.
Meantime, Metro Nashville police say there's been an uptick in so-called sliding incidents. That's when you get out of your car at a gas station, turn your back on the car to face the gas pump. Channel 4's Steve Mailing spoke to a local police officer about what happens next.
The moment you turn your back, somebody could hop out from their vehicle. Your car is unlocked. They can easily open your door, crotch down, slide in, and take your items out.
And that's what officers are getting reports of, over a dozen in the past month to be specific, where at mostly Kroger and Mapco gas stations, customers are being targeted, especially women.
And these incidents happening most often in Midtown and Southeast Nashville, but of course they can happen anywhere. That is the latest news. Your forecast next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
1038, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I think one of my favorite things from the State of the Union wasn't even the speech itself. It's the fact that immediately following the State of the Union, Republicans have had their marching orders, and they're getting to work, not sitting on their hands, not just tweeting, but they're actually doing work. One of those things that is being pushed through now is Delilah's Law, which you'll remember that Delilah was honored in the gallery. 5-year-old Delilah, beautiful little girl, who had her life just absolutely turned upside down when an illegal alien struck their family's vehicle while he was driving an 18-wheeler. They're pushing to make Delilah's Law the law of the land, meaning you can't give out a CDL to an illegal alien that doesn't speak English. The father of Delilah Coleman, who was brutally injured by an illegal alien, was at the White House after the State of the Union, but he also he's pretty happy today because they are pushing that through. So let's get that voted on quickly. It seems like the left is going to kick and scream against any kind of enforcement on anything when it comes to the Trump administration. But the American people are with Donald Trump and the Trump administration when it comes to immigration and immigration enforcement. And you see it in the numbers. I mean, it was just yesterday, even CNN was admitting this. Harry Enton, once again, bringing the brutal truth to CNN viewers, all 7 of them, that Republicans are trusted way more than Democrats on border security and immigration policy.
This, I think, is so important to note. After all the events in Los Angeles, after all the events in Minneapolis, after all the events of the last year on immigration, can Democrats actually take advantage on this issue? And a look at the polling suggests actually no, they're in a worse position than they were at this point during Donald Trump's first term. Take a look here. Trust which party more on immigration? In 2018, Democrats had an edge of about 6 points. You come over to this side of the screen now, look at that. Republicans are the ones who have an edge on immigration.
Republicans with a +5. This is after we've been invading the cities with the military, and this is after we've been killing Americans in the street, and this is after we've sent out the Gestapo and all the Nazis and the foot soldiers. The American people are still with the president. Weird. You mean to tell me that the average American citizen doesn't want illegal alien, gang members, murderers, rapists, and child rapists in their communities? I'm shocked. I'm stunned. I didn't see this. I didn't see this coming.
So this whole idea that Democrats are going to be able to take advantage of the immigration group, of the immigration issue, actually doesn't bear itself out in the polling, despite everything that's been going on. In fact, Democrats are in worse position than they were during Donald Trump's first term.
Yeah,
Weird.
maybe they don't like what Donald Trump, the president, is doing, but they don't think Democrats will do a better job.
Correct. They think Democrats will do a worse job on immigration than Republicans.
All right.
Well, and they're correct. See, the Democrats' view on the immigration problem is that the only problem is there aren't enough immigrants. We need more newcomers. They're going to come in here, and then they're going to vote, and they're going to change the fabric of America, and Democrats will stay in power forever. That's the only problem is there's not enough. There's not enough. And everybody sees that. I mean, most Republicans do. I actually saw a clip. It was the Oklahoma governor, Kevin Stitt. And I thought to myself, it's like, what are we doing here? This is a Republican governor in the state of Oklahoma. And he's given this interview to NPR, which, I mean, that's a red flag in and of itself. That you're sitting down and you're wasting time with NPR. But, you know, hey, maybe he's just trying to reach people on the other side of the aisle. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Until you hear his answer. And then you go, what the hell are you doing? Governor Kevin Stitt told NPR he doesn't believe Democrat politicians are trying to get illegals here to turn them into voters.
But I will also say, you know, even my Democrat governor colleagues, they're not trying to get illegals here to turn them into voters. I don't believe that's what Democrat, politicians are trying to do.
Weird. Now, listen, I know Democrats they'll lie to the Republicans. They'll try and seem more moderate. But if you pay attention, if you pay enough attention, from time to time, Democrats will tell other Democrats the truth. And if Kevin Stitt was paying attention, Chuck Schumer actually did that just the other day on Morning Joe on MS Now. He actually told the truth on what his goal is for an immigration deal.
What would an immigration deal look like between Republicans and Democrats in the Senate?
Well, we had a good model in 2013, as you may remember, bipartisan. John McCain and I headed the Gang of Eight. We had 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, including Marco Rubio, who's now gone to the other side on this. But we could come up with a bill like that. It toughens up the border. It gives a path to citizenship, a long, tough path to citizenship for 11 million people who are here.
Oh. And which way do you think those 11 million would vote, Senator Schumer? Would you be willing to give them a path to citizenship if the 11 million were going to vote Republican in the midterms? Of course not. Of course, and don't worry, guys. It would be a long, hard path. Trust me. They would verify everything. If you pay enough attention to the Democrats, they tell you the truth. And I think this is one of the reasons why Donald Trump's numbers on immigration still look so good in the polling. Because all you got to do is listen to the Democrats to figure out their plan. And the plan is replacement. It always has been.
All right, what about border security in general?
Okay, border security in general. So this is immigration at large. What about border security? Look at this. Look at these numbers. Hello. Party trusted more in border security. Again, at this point, Trump's terms. Look at this. In 2018, Republicans had a 13-point advantage. If anything, the advantage is a little bit larger now. Republicans up by 15 points. So when you put it all together, you put immigration with border security and the idea that Democrats will be able to take the ball and run away on it. The polling data suggests no. This is actually an issue that Republicans should be more comfortable running on than Democrats. Democrats running on immigration may actually be to the Republicans' advantage.
Well, I hope that they do then. And when it comes to border security, yes, we all understand that Donald Trump is far better at border security. Donald Trump in term 1, build the wall. Donald Trump in term 2, he shut down the border in what, the first week and a half? Lowest border crossings in recent history. What is it, like 0% crossings now? Like 0.003? The border is effectively shut down. And this is the same border that Democrats said they couldn't close without a bipartisan border bill co-authored by Senator Lankford out of where? Oh, weird, Oklahoma. And what is going on in Oklahoma? Is there something in the water in Oklahoma? You do me a favor, email Mason, email Oklahoma and just send them a link to betterwater.com. Can you do that for me?
I'll send one to Flint too.
Yes, there might be something they need to check out.
Just a little bit.
Yes, people trust Donald Trump more on border security. I do hope the Democrats try and run on this.
What about when you compare President Trump with former President Biden?
Yeah, okay. So, we speak about President Trump's approval rating, right, on immigration not being as high as it once was. But I'll tell you who the heck it's a lot higher than at this point in his term, and that's the predecessor, Joe Biden. Look at this, approval on immigration at this point in presidency. Biden was at just 34%. Donald Trump looks a whole heck of a lot better when you compare him to the alternative at 45%.
I think one of the funny things about the Donald Trump approval on immigration being at 45% is that some of the disapproval is going to come from a portion of the Republican Party who thinks we're not deporting enough people. I would probably fall into that camp a little bit. I think that we need to get those deportation numbers way up. 30 million is the goal. What are we at? Like 2.5 million? With an overwhelming majority of those being self-deportations? We need to keep pushing. We gotta get those numbers up. And I think you'd see Donald Trump's approval rise because of it. When it comes to elected officials in the country, and not even Democrats or Republicans, but other elected officials, a group of sheriffs in Maryland are just downright furious with the way their lawmakers are treating immigration and cooperation with federal law enforcement agents. We got Maryland Sheriff Michael Lewis of Wicomico County. I know I butchered that, but Wicomico County. He was flanked by essentially every Maryland sheriff in the state. These guys were all elected to be sheriffs, and they are fed up with the way the Democrats in control of that state are not working, obstructing cooperation with federal law enforcement.
This is nothing more than politics over public safety, and we as elected sheriffs are fed up with it. You don't see this many sheriffs in one location in the state at any given time. But we have to come together in unison to stop the ridiculousness that's going on up here in Annapolis, Maryland. And lawmakers need to wake up and realize Marylanders and the American people want public safety over politics, and they're not getting it.
And they won't get it with Democrats, as evident there in Maryland. You will get it with Republicans, as evident by the poll numbers, why Donald Trump is so much more popular on the issue of immigration. And it's also because Democrats get out there and say just asinine things like this. Democrat Rep. Bonnie Coleman, who on, what was this, the People's State of the Union, back when the Democrats boycotted Trump's State of the Union, they had a weird little rally. And Democrat Rep. Bonnie Coleman was actually out there threatening violence against ICE. And of course she was.
They're gearing up in New Jersey now. But New Jersey is gearing up for ICE. We want you to know that we're going to be ready when you come here. So you think you saw something in Minneapolis? You come to New Jersey. We may be small, but we're freaking mighty.
Stunning and brave. I hope Tom Homan obliges her on that invitation and shows up and floods the zone. But she's essentially, she is threatening violence, right? Like, that's exactly what she's doing. You think what they did in Minnesota was bad? Wait until you see what happens in New Jersey. Okay. I'd love to see it, actually. And I hope that we see it soon. On the way, the Trump administration has been hitting the ground running. Campaign stops are now happening. That's what we saw yesterday with J.D. Vance in the state of Wisconsin. I'm going to bring you some of the highlights from that. He had a few messages for Democrats, and he had a few asks of the people of Wisconsin. All that and more on the way. 10:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, drivers, we got stuff in the way. Right now in Williamson County, there is a crash in the median 840 westbound before Arno Road. In Smyrna, got the road work. Right 2 lanes blocked, 24 eastbound before Almaville Road. Whites Creek, you got the road work. Only 1 lane open, 24 westbound. That's between Old Hickory Boulevard North and Whites Creek Pike. Then in Woodbine, a crash, 24 westbound before 440. Madison, a crash, right shoulder block, 65 northbound before Old Hickory Boulevard. It's not even rush hour. Iran and the U.S. have wrapped up indirect talks in Geneva. We'll tell you what's next coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know it's a busy news day when the tease is almost as long as the headlines.
Yes, sir.
Ken Weaver on the way. Looking forward to that. I feel your frustration on the it's not even rush hour. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
I'm telling you, dude.
You know what would fix all of this?
What's that?
Just extensive pothole repair. That's all we're missing.
That's some of what's going on.
Ken Weaver's in the newsroom. We got the headlines on the way. I do feel like I owe an apology to one of our listeners. To text it in 1392.
Why's that, Brother Chris Hand?
Well, so John Thune can't do the he can't bring the Save America Act to the floor because it takes too much time. Everybody knows that. But he had time for a dog parade.
Oh.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Ken. These octogenarians and their puppies. It was so embarrassing. So, like, some of them are in, like, ride-on scooters, like you see at a Walmart, with the dog in the front basket. And it's like, oh, my gosh, what are we doing? And, like, there's, like, streamers on it, like a 6-year-old girl's bike. I'm not lying to you. Like, every that is not an exaggeration. That is factual. So you had time to put the streamers on your roll-away scooter there and get your dog all looking good, but you don't have time to have a talking filibuster to get the Save America Act across the finish line. So, anyway, nobody's mad at me for calling out the dog parade. Everybody thinks that is BS. But I made the comment, and some people caught the reference. This listener did not. I made the comment that John Thune probably has a Shih Tzu, which is a very low testing dog because it is a Chinese dog. It's a reference to the movie The Campaign with Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell. When they were getting Zach Galifianakis ready for the campaign, they said, we got to get rid of these dogs. These are low-testing dogs. You can't have Chinese dogs. We need to get you a lab. And so they said, that's a high-testing American dog. So they got rid of Zach Galifianakis' dog. So I made the joke. And 1392 said, well, Chris, as much as I like your show, I guess I'm disqualified from being a listener. I rescued a Shih Tzu 4 years ago. I really didn't like your comments. You know what? I would just like to go on the record and say, good. I don't need you or your Chinese dogs. No, I'm kidding. It was a reference to the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, get yourself a real dog. But
I don't know, they got smushed little faces. Little smushed faces.
They're all right. They get the weird little crusties. You know what I mean? Not a fan. Well, so that's an apology that didn't go as well as I thought it would, but I apologize nonetheless. We got a lot to cover still. JD Vance was in Minnesota. I'm not gonna bring you all the Wisconsin. JD Vance was in Wisconsin. I'm not gonna bring you all the audio. It was a campaign stop, to say the least. But I do like seeing the Republicans on the campaign trail. Midterms are going to be here before we know it. We're seeing Donald Trump start making stops, and we're also seeing JD Vance make some stops. And yesterday, he said to Democrats, "Screw off. We're going to fix the fraud, whether you like it or not."
Now, I'm here to tell you that the job of your government is not to open your borders and allow fraudsters to come in and take advantage of you. The job of your government is to shut the border and shut off the fraud, and that's exactly what we're doing in the Trump administration.
And we're seeing that $260 million withheld from Minnesota yesterday. We covered that. Vance and Dr. Oz talking about that. New York and California on their radar next. And we'll also bring you some more comments on the way from J.D. Vance in Minnesota. Plus, we'll talk about Donald Trump in the midterms. Approval rating is up for Donald Trump, and The View gets a bit schooled on the market and Donald Trump. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Well, we've got mixed messages coming out of the indirect talks between Iran and the U.S. this week. Here's ABC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell with more.
It's hard to say. I mean, the Iranians think it went well, the Omanis think it went well, and the American delegation is saying nothing. Now, that could be for one or two reasons. Either they just don't want to hash this out in public, or they have a very different interpretation of quite how it went.
Meanwhile, in our nation's capital,
Vice President Vance will meet today at the White House with the Foreign Minister of Oman to discuss the U.S.-Iran negotiations. The meeting comes after indirect talks yesterday in Geneva between the U.S. and Iran, mediated by Oman, and as President Trump continues to threaten military strikes against Iran. In an interview with the Washington Post Thursday, Vance dismissed concerns about what he called a, quote, Middle Eastern war for years with no end in sight, saying, quote, there is no chance that will happen. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Well, there's a high-stakes battle over the future of fighting wars. The Defense Department threatening an AI firm with serious legal action unless it agrees to allow its software to be used in ways its maker finds to be too dangerous. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
The dispute has the AI firm Anthropic drawing a line in the sand. The company says it refuses to allow its product Claude to be used by the Pentagon for mass surveillance of Americans or for the deployment of weapons that can select and engage targets themselves. Pentagon officials say they have no intention of using Claude for either purpose, but they say they won't allow any company to dictate operational decisions. And they're now threatening to blacklist Anthropic as a national security risk or to invoke the Defense Production Act to compel the company's cooperation.
The civil trial against social media companies continues today when lawyers for YouTube are expected to question the plaintiff who filed the lawsuit. Yesterday, she took the stand, said that prolonged use of social media platforms affected her mental health, leading to anxiety, depression, and body dysmorphia. She says in her suit, social media platforms deliberately tried to addict its users, especially younger users. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
The now 20-year-old woman identified as Kaylee taking the stand in a Los Angeles courtroom Thursday, describing what she calls an addiction to social media that began after she started watching YouTube when she was 6. I would try to make limits for myself, but I just couldn't get off, Kaylee testified.
Pay a visit to your local supermarket or shopping mall. Chances are good you're going to see somebody wearing their PJs. ABC's Jim Ryan says the great debate over sleepwear in public was reignited yesterday on X.
The posting from airport staff was unequivocal. Quote, it's time to ban pajamas at Tampa International Airport. It follows an appeal from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy in November.
Let's try not to wear slippers and pajamas as we come to the airport.
Which was met with immediate backlash.
Be comfortable.
I'm coming to New York. I'm wearing pajamas.
Oh, always got to be comfortable. If you ain't comfortable, what are you doing in life?
The PR staff at Tampa International Airport later confirmed that the pajama ban was a joke. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You ever get a text where, like, you were looking forward to something and then everything is flipped upside down? You ever get that? That ever happened to you? I was looking forward to the weekend. We had a daddy-daughter dance that we were going to do tonight. And I just got word that the 12-year-old girl, the one that I was going to be cutting a rug with, stomach bug.
No.
I know.
Oh.
I know it. Now it's like, I was looking forward to embarrassing her all night long. And now we're just holding back hair, you know? That's what we're doing.
Oh, man.
I said, go to the cabinet, get yourself some activated charcoal. Dude, every time.
It works?
You never done the activated charcoal?
No.
Oh, man, it's the best. Like, I'm probably going to take some before I get, too intertwined in the cleanup and the helping out. Because anytime one of the kids has a stomach bug, pop a couple activated charcoals and you'll be...
Oh, I wish I'd have known about it back in the day.
Aren't you the one that told me that you just chug a bunch of water when you need to throw up?
Yeah,
you're just an absolute psychopath.
Absolute, man. I want to expel it. I want it out.
That's
and
crazy.
I don't want to wait around on it.
That is crazy. All right. Well, all you prayer warriors out there, say a little prayer for Kennedy. And the
little
stomach
Kennedy.
bug. We appreciate that. We do. In the meantime, I don't think this will make you sick. It'll make the left pretty sick. You like that? That's a heck of a segue. That's
way to go.
I mean, can anybody else? This is why, boys. This is why I was ranked number 17 in the country.
Yes, sir. For segues.
It was really on the strength of segues, they told me. Because nobody else.
And anecdotal evidence.
No, anecdotal evidence and segues are really my strength. So this won't make your stomach turn, but it will make the left stomach turn. J.D. Vance was, It's pretty good, right?
That's good segue,
I thought it was
Chris.
pretty good. I was pretty. They said, Chris, we want you to show a little more personality. I was like, perfect, I can do that. Hey, my daughter was puking. They're like, well, I don't know if that's what we
too much
meant.
personality.
That's not. It's kind of a revealing, but I don't know if that was personality.
Yeah.
And I said, but my segues, they were like top notch. Don't even change the segue. The segues are awesome. So, J.D. Vance was doing a campaign stop yesterday in Wisconsin, and he has called for Wisconsin to flip bread and vote for the Trump-endorsed Representative Tom Tiffany for governor.
We've also got President Trump's endorsed candidate for governor of Wisconsin, Tom Tiffany. Tom, please stand up and be recognized. Another great guy. Another guy without whom we could not have accomplished all the great things that we did in Washington, D.C. Now he wants to come back home and serve as governor. Are we going to make Tom Tiffany the next governor of Wisconsin? There we go.
Now, listen, Tom Tiffany actually does have a chance to win governor of Wisconsin. I believe, if I recall correctly, their primary is next week. He is leading the Republican polling for the Republican primary, and he has a legitimate chance to win the governorship in Wisconsin. This is kind of looking to game out the same way in a lot of Maine governor races where Republicans seem to have the advantage. There's at least 26 governorships tilting towards the Republicans post-2026 election. CNN was breaking this down the other day.
Yeah, governors have a whole lot of power, and there's all this talk of a Democratic wave. But the gubernatorial races nationwide should stand as a wake-up call for Democrats, Because take a look here. The race raiders, governors post-2026 election, at least tilting to the Republicans. Look at this. A majority, 26. That is, at this point, the number of governors that are expected, at least tilting towards the Republican Party at this point. Democrats come in at just 20. The rest of the races are toss-up. Of course, you sum up to 50. And I will note that the Republicans right now hold a 26 to 24 gubernatorial seat advantage. So at this point, it doesn't look like Republicans on the net and the aggregate are actually going to lose any governorships. In fact, when you add in those toss-ups, they may gain. So this should stand as a major wake-up call to Democrats, because if there's a wave building, it has not, at least at this point, hit the state level when it comes to governorships.
I mean, listen, if the blue wave is coming, if midterms are predetermined casualty for the right, and that the left is just going to clean up, well, how do you square this with your rationale? 26 governorships leaning towards the Republicans, 4 toss-ups, 20 leading towards the Democrats. It does look like we're going to keep our majority as far as governors go in the country, which is a good thing. And I think that's just common sense with American voters. Would you rather go to a state that's run by conservatives, or would you rather go to a state that's run by Democrats? We made the comment the other day that Abigail Spanberger is one of the most dangerous Democrats in America, and I think she is because of how good she can lie, how smooth that she is. But conservatives are paying attention. I think we do need to pay attention. The amount of taxes that she passed after campaigning as a moderate, the same can be said about Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey, how they're immediately cutting off cooperation with federal agencies like ICE. They're not making their states safer. They're not making their states more affordable. I think that actually does help us as we head towards November. I mean, we'll see what happens. The proof is going to be in the results, not in the speculation. But J.D. Vance, he's saying we got to fight. You know, one of the big issues is making sure that the elections are on the up and up. And yesterday in Wisconsin, he confirmed that their Democrat governor is hiding both voter rolls and welfare roll data. And this is something that the Trump administration is trying to purge for fraud. And it's happening in Wisconsin, but it's happening in states all over the country.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Matt Smith from WISN TV in Milwaukee. On the fraud efforts and what we saw in Minnesota yesterday, here in Wisconsin, the governor has refused to give over the SNAP data here in the state, along with the voter data. I'm curious, is there a point, or at what point would the administration withhold federal funds from Wisconsin?
Well, look, we're going to look at every option that we have because we've got to stop this terrible fraud, but that is absurd. Ask yourself a question. Why would the government of Wisconsin not want to help us kick fraud off of the welfare rolls and kick fraud off of the voter rolls? And the only answer I can possibly come up with is because they like to cheat. There's no other real explanation.
Bingo. Excuse me, sir. Bingo. Yep. I mean, and that we all know that. This is why they want the newcomers. This is why they don't want to share their voter data. This is why they don't want the SAVE Act to be passed. It's because Democrats like to cheat. And I'm of the opinion that if the Democrats can't cheat, it makes winning for the Democrats a lot more difficult.
Now, the governor might say, in fact, I'm sure the governor would say this. Let me just be charitable to those who disagree with us. The governor would say, well, there isn't as much fraud as the Trump administration believes there is. Well, even if that's true, and it's not, but even if that's true, let's get what fraud there is off the voter rolls and off the welfare rolls. You know the right number of people who should be illegally voting in American elections? 0. You know the number of people who should be fraudulently collecting food stamps? 0. I want those benefits to exist for the people who need them. The only way to promise that is to get the fraud out of the system, and that's what we're trying to do in the Trump administration.
This is why I'm grateful that J.D. Vance is the fraud czar. We think that Joe Jones said the other day, the frog czar, right? Yeah, he's the fraud and the frog czar. Well, the frog czar would be RFK.
Yeah.
That's Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy's the frog czar. J.D. Vance is the fraud czar. But we love JD in this position. And one of the best reasons to have JD in this position is because of how well he can communicate this to the American people. And he's already out there doing it in Wisconsin, and he's going to be hitting the campaign trail elsewhere as well. And before he left the campaign trail in Wisconsin, he just had one ask for the voters of Wisconsin.
Goes to work, and we fight for the American dream for you and your family, however you define it. We would really appreciate you not sending us a bunch of crazy Democrats in November. So please don't do that. God bless you all. Thank you.
I love that close. Would really appreciate it. It would really mean a lot to us if you didn't send us any radical leftist lunatics in November. Greatly would appreciate it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That's J.D. Vance in Wisconsin. The getting on the campaign trail is a big deal. I think that Trump does awesome on the campaign trail. J.D. Vance does awesome on the campaign trail. And I think it's only going to help us as we head towards midterms. Currently, right now, new polling has Donald Trump's approval rating post-State of the Union jumping to 51%, a healthy 51%. Taken after the State of the Union address Tuesday night. The Trafalgar Group surveyed 1,084 likely voters and found 47.1% of them polled strongly approved before the State of the Union. After the State of the Union, it was up to 51%. They say it's no surprise that with the opportunity to talk directly to the American people without the filter of corporate media, Trump's standing improves. And this is exactly why we need him on the campaign trail. This is why when they say that we're going to have a midterm blitz and it's going to feel like the lead up to the 2024 election, I think that's fantastic. When they talk about having an RNC type event ahead of the midterms, I think we need that. We need to get the energy up, especially when you look at the other side. It's very easy for the left to be energized right now. And it's very easy for even our side to be energized when there's an enemy, a something that we can point to and say, we can't let this continue. And when we had Biden in office, it was very, very easy. I mean, across the board, it's easy for Republican groups to fundraise when Democrats are in power. It is easy for content when Democrats are in power. It's a lot harder when the Republicans are in power. So getting out there on the campaign trail, having an RNC type event, I think is going to be a massive boon for the Republicans. Meanwhile, we just need more truth tellers, and one of them popped up on on The View yesterday from CNBC. They had on, what was her name? Oh, Sarah Eisen. She is one of the co-hosts and a financial expert from CNBC, and she was talking about the market liking President Trump, and Whoopi Goldberg and the other ladies that cackle on The View were very shocked to hear this. Somebody, telling the truth.
After we do what we're supposed to do, I do want to ask you about the market, because it seems that the market doesn't really pay attention to who is president. The market does what it does.
Actually, the market likes who's president, I think.
Really?
Oh, interesting. There's a lot of upbeat sentiment from companies and from investors about policies that are helpful for growth. Deregulation.
Do you think the tariffs are helpful for growth?
The tariffs usually wouldn't be helpful for growth, but they haven't been as bad as everybody expected.
But they're not good.
It helps for rich people. It doesn't help poor people or middle-income people.
Well, fair. Yeah. But, when the tariffs were announced, everyone thought it would be like massive inflation and the market would fall apart and the economy would fall apart. And it hasn't.
Well, it's not yet.
Companies have absorbed it. You know what? They've never been more profitable right now.
Oh, weird. So the companies are absorbing the tariffs. They've never been more profitable. They're able to hire more workers. The markets actually like Trump, and people are going to fight against this, kicking and screaming every single step of the way. Don't worry, the tariffs will continue until morale improves. I think the tariffs are a good thing for rebalancing trade, and we've seen that in action. And we haven't seen the price increases that they planned, that they said were going to be unavoidable. We've seen some prices go up, and I think you'd be naive to say that we haven't. But on the whole, I think the Trump economy is doing pretty good. And as we turn the corner here in the next few months and head towards midterms, this is going to become less and less of a talking point for the political left. So what are going to be the main issues for them in the midterms? I think that they're going to try and use immigration enforcement against the Trump administration. I think that's going to be a losing issue. I think they're going to try and fight and kick and scream on voting integrity laws, so the Save America Act, which probably won't go through. But then you have the entire plan that's being floated of an executive order where Trump could take control from a national standpoint of the elections because of interference that we saw in 2020 via China. They'll be kicking and screaming against that. But I think if all things are fair and equal, I think the Republicans still do have a chance to win some major points in the midterms. Are we going to keep the majority? Your guess is as good as mine. But I don't think it's going to be the bloodbath that the Democrats anticipate. And maybe, just maybe, if things continue going the Trump administration's way, maybe we retain that power after the midterms. I know it's a big ask and historically not what happens. But if anybody can do it, it'd be the Trump administration. 11:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock store. If you like buying firearms, the only place to do it is down at the Glock store. If you like getting accessories, tricking out your Glock, the only place to do it is down at the Glock store. And when you need to make sure you're ready, in case you ever need to use that firearm, the only place to train is down at the Glock store. Real training is not standing in a lane, punching holes in paper targets over and over and over again. I mean, you do that 100,000 times, and you'll be really prepared should you be ever attacked by a paper target. But it's not real world training. You know it, and I know it. This is where the Shoot 270 indoor ranges come in. They're next level, and they're only at the Glock store. You're training in rooms, not lanes. You're working with professional instructors, running drills on multiple targets, learning how to clear a room in the dark, practicing drawing from concealment until it becomes second nature. Owning a gun is a right, but knowing how to use it under pressure, that's a responsibility, and that's a responsibility that the Glock store can help you with. They make it so simple. You go to shoot270.com, you book your appointment, and you're ready to train. This is perfect for any skill level, whether you're a newbie or whether you have extensive experience. You're going to learn some things at the Glock store every single time you go into one of those Shoot 270 indoor ranges, only at the Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, always open online, glockstore.com.
All right, drivers, road work, only one lane open, 24 westbound through Whites Creek. We've got a crash in the median. It is blocking the left lane now. This is 840 westbound right before Arno Road in Williamson County. And then over at the Eastern Split, a crash. It's off on the shoulder, but still slowing people down. 40 westbound there at the Eastern Split, exit 213A. And everybody is being asked to be on the lookout for 40-year-old Donnell Maxwell on the run after a Memphis cop was shot last night. I'll give you the details at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It's 11:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on social media platforms at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. I'm chuckling. 5847. Said, don't let Kennedy's stomach bug ruin your night. Go to the dance solo, Chris. I just might.
No.
I just might. I'm not gonna let anybody steal my sunshine.
Can't keep me away from a bowl of punch.
No. Who's gonna spike the punch if I'm not there? No, that's so funny. Go by yourself. Just go solo. I'll be. Yeah, my daughter couldn't make it, but I wasn't going to miss this.
Can't turn down an opportunity to dance the night away.
That is so funny. Shout out to 5847 for making me laugh. We got a lot to get to, and not a lot of time, so we'll do our best to run through it all. So the market likes Trump. We played that clip from The View. A couple people pointing out on the text line that it feels like the clapping was a bit canned. It might be. Very well could be. We do know that Bill Clinton is currently being deposed by the House Oversight Committee. He's going to be asked about all the questions that Hillary threw him under the bus for because she said numerous occasions, dozens of times, according to James Comer, you'll have to ask my husband. And I said, okay, we will.
Mr. Chairman, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Explain to us specifically what you need to hear from President Clinton today. What do you want to know?
Well, I think everyone's seen there are a lot of photos that have been released by the Department of Justice as well as the Epstein estate. There are a lot of email correspondence that included President Clinton. We know President Clinton had, and Secretary Clinton confirmed this yesterday, Jeffrey Epstein was in the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. We know that Bill Clinton flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane at least 27 times. So those are questions that we're going to ask. Everything that most media outlets have reported with respect to pictures and correspondence between Epstein, Maxwell, and Bill Clinton, these are all questions that we're going to check.
A lot of questions to ask Bill Clinton today, and the most interesting part about all of this is that it's going to be released on video. Hillary Clinton's deposition, the video will be released. Bill Clinton's deposition, the video will be released. They're also going to be releasing the transcripts. But like I said earlier in the show, the transcripts are going to tell you one part of the story. The body language and the reaction that we see from the question is going to tell you a completely different story. We're going to learn a lot more from the video just because of the being able to see the reaction in real time to the question. Do they recoil? Are they grimacing? Like what is the facial expression? What's the body language like? So I'm very excited to see what these videos look like. And I also wonder, are they going to ask Bill why it was that Epstein had a painting of him in the Monica Lewinsky blue dress at his Manhattan estate? And what will Bill's reaction be to that question? They have to ask him that, right? They would have to. If they don't, then I don't think these guys are serious. You have to ask him about the blue dress. We'll be keeping you updated as more information comes out. They said they will be dropping updates on the deposition momentarily or throughout the day. They'll be coming out, and there'll be members of the House Oversight Committee. They'll bring updates. Should any of those come out, we'll have those for you during the lightning round. We got a lot to cover in the lightning round. Actually, a couple good stories that I wanted to mention, including actress Kristen Stewart. Do you know Kristen Stewart? Is she still a big actress? She was in the Twilight.
Sorta.
She was in the Twilight movies.
Yeah.
So like your generation especially loves her.
My generation does.
Mason.
My generation does.
Mason has a poster of her in his bedroom.
No. No.
You're right. It's just the Twilight movie poster. So it also has the vampire and the werewolves as well. It's a much larger focus on the werewolves. Is that right?
No!
Okay. Well, we'll bring you that story regardless on the way in the lightning round. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
No!
Don't give me that look.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, 40-year-old Donnell Maxwell is on the run after authorities say he tried to kill a Memphis cop last night. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issuing a statewide blue alert for Maxwell. Officials say he's wanted for the attempted first-degree murder of that cop last night in the Parkway Village area. He was last seen wearing dark clothing with an orange and green reflective vest and is believed to be armed with a silver handgun. Anyone who spots Maxwell should immediately call 1-800-TBI-FIND. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation looking for more possible victims in a child internet crimes case involving a Nashville man. Agents say 32-year-old Scott Armistead Quarles contacted people online while using several different usernames. He was arrested after investigators say they posed as minors during the operation. Anyone who believes they may have been targeted is urged to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. And a convicted sex offender back in custody after investigators say he spent years volunteering at a Dixon County school. The TBI says a tip revealed Robert Hankins had been helping with events at Greater Things Christian School, including setting up sound equipment and even announcing a flag football game. School leaders reportedly confirmed he had been on campus since 2023 and was last seen there in January clearing the parking lot. Hankins is now charged with 2 felony counts of being on school property as a registered sex offender. And a Tennessee law that threatened local officials with felony charges for supporting so-called sanctuary policies has been ruled unconstitutional. A Nashville chancellor approved an order ending the case after the state attorney general declined to defend the law. Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti has said the Constitution protects elected officials for how they vote. The ruling means city and county leaders can cast votes on immigration issues without fear of criminal penalties. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Find me on your favorite social media platform at Chris Hand on Air. That's Twitter, TikTok, True Social, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky. Blue Sky is really just for trolling. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to spend some time on Blue Sky this weekend. And I'm going to... I am, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for you. I'll troll on Blue Sky so you don't have to. Matt Murphy watches CNN. I'll troll on Blue Sky.
You got to let us know how long it takes for them to block you.
Okay. I usually just
I don't know if they're doing that, but
a lot of times I'll post like a GIF of Trump, and it'll be like, he's giving that look like you sure about that? It's very subtle. It's very subtle, but a lot of times, yeah, that or a rolling eye emoji. I try not to be rude. I try not to be
very passive.
cursing or anything like that. I just want it to be more mocking, not less angry, more laughing. That's what
I forgot about that. Do that again.
They say that Biden was sharp as a tack. You know that, right?
Yeah.
That he was running circles around the staff while they were behind closed doors, of course.
Allegedly.
Yep, that's what they say. That's what they say. Hey, it's 11:38, so you know what time it is, right? It's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
We do it every day this time. All the stories that wouldn't fill a whole segment, but we feel like needed to be covered anyway. Stories that we ran out of time to cover, and all sorts of shenanigans. We like to call it the lightning round. It's pretty good. You're pretty quick on the lightning today. I feel like you're gonna do really good today.
Oh, you're setting me too far up.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you could have a worse day today than you did yesterday.
That's a fair point.
It's just what I'm saying. And I thought you were pretty good on the lightning yesterday, but just all things considered, getting locked out of your own vehicle after you're late for work, and then you're at work, and that's when you get locked out of your vehicle.
Yeah, headphones not working.
And then you blocked everybody else from getting into the office too. So you basically, what the Democrats did to the GDP during the last shutdown, that's what you did to Cumulus Nashville yesterday. Like, we would have been a much more productive radio group had you not killed our GDP by at least 2 points yesterday.
At least you got to work with every producer in the building.
Everyone but Jackson.
Everyone but Jackson. From every other station except Jackson.
It's true.
Still need to get him on the show.
All right. First story in the lightning round. This one's pretty quick. The fake news has been saying that President Trump and Secretary Bobby Kennedy are retreating from removing all the artificial dyes. That they're pumping the brakes a little bit. Yet today we got a story from Axios that says Target will now require every cereal it sells to be made without synthetic food dyes by the end of May. I love it. That is a timeline we can get behind. There's a lot of companies that are saying, like, we're going to route this stuff out, but it's going to take some time. And listen, I think it's fine to be patient with some of these companies. You got to make new processes and you got to change some things. But a lot of these cereal companies, especially the ones that are making it here in America, if they're selling this cereal in Canada, they're already making it without the synthetic and artificial food dyes. So they already have it in-house. They're just still poisoning our kids. I didn't have Target being one of the first, because I kind of turned away from Target when they started selling gay dog clothes. I thought that was a bridge too far. And then they had those the youth bathing suits for the transgender kids. Remember that? The tucking swimsuits. So I had kind of written off Target as doing anything positive for the kids.
Yeah, understandable.
And the puppies. Even the low testing Chinese dogs. So, you know what I mean? But I think give credit where credit's due. Target will now require every cereal it sells to be made without synthetic food dyes by the end of May, per Axios. We salute you. It's rare. So this is a rare time where we say kudos to Target. Got another story right here in the lightning round. This one's fun. Anybody else getting lawsuit fatigue? Anybody? Do you ever feel like it's like lawsuit fatigue when it comes to the Trump administration?
How you feel about Gates is what I feel about lawsuits right now, but I'm here for them if they're effective.
What do I feel about Gates?
Pizzagate.
Oh yeah,
Watergate.
I like
repetition.
Well, I'm more of a Pizzagate believer than some of the people.
I'm more just coining it the term
because the term gate is I'm anti-term gate.
Gate.
Yeah, we had Mason Gate.
Yeah,
yesterday. But so the lawsuits, I mean, you kind of lose track of them. There's so many lawsuits out there. One of the ones that was out there was a lawsuit against the White House ballroom construction. As of yesterday, that's been thrown out.
Federal judge is refusing to stop construction of a new White House ballroom. The judge says preservationists challenging it have failed to meet the requirements to halt the project. The plaintiffs insist President Trump should have consulted Congress before the demolition of the White House East Wing. President Trump took to Truth Social today to tout the ruling and that the project is moving forward.
The ballroom will continue. I'm sorry that you're upset. And just let the record show more tax dollars were wasted on this frivolous lawsuit by the Democrats than will be wasted or even used in construction of the ballroom. All donor funded, all not coming out of your tax dollars, but coming out of the pockets of President Trump's friends. I made this comment the other night. Has any president, this when we were at the Stake of the Union at Legends in Smyrna, has any president done more to upgrade the White House than President Trump? I mean, truly, what this guy has done, it looks awesome in there. And now with this ballroom, that is going to be beneficial for every president to follow, Democrat or Republican. Was it Eric Swalwell was saying it has to be a campaign promise that you'll tear down the White House if you want to be the Democrat. You'll tear down the ballroom at the White House if you want to be the Democrat nominee. Yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening. The ballroom is getting made, and the Democrats, whether they like to admit it or not, they will enjoy said ballroom. Get another server here in the lightning round. This one is about Mason's childhood crush, Kristen Stewart. What? Don't even front.
No.
Don't front. You loved this chick growing up.
She's the best with her wide scope of acting skills, monotone straight face with slightly less monotone straight face.
See what I'm saying?
Killing it.
Who knew that she had so many versions of the monotone straight face?
Her versatility is
only her
wild.
number one fan.
She flips her hair a lot, too.
So, before I was interrupted by the president of the Kristen Stewart fan club, I wanted to deliver you this story. Kristen Stewart, listen, you don't have to take off your sweatshirt. We know you're wearing the T-shirt. Mason's wearing.
I can't prove anything because I don't have a camera
I know.
anymore.
Mason's wearing a Kristen Stewart T-shirt today. I swear we didn't plan it. I swear we didn't plan this.
No, I walked up and Chris said, "Hey, I bought you this shirt. Can you wear this for the lightning round for me today?"
It's not what I would never buy Mason anything.
That's true.
Kristen Stewart. Okay, I don't know why Kristen Stewart was asked about immigration, but she's a Hollywood celebrity, so of course we're going to ask questions about politics. So Kristen Stewart, I don't even know what red carpet she was on. Nobody cares about whatever movie she's in or not in. Like, who cares? But she's on the red carpet, and she was asked about illegal immigration, and the question was actually posed as, "What would break your heart if it disappeared from L.A.?" So she went right towards illegal aliens. It would break her heart if illegal aliens disappeared from L.A. So the question is, what would break your heart if it disappeared from L.A.? This is Kristen Stewart's answer.
Immigrants. I can't stand the idea that the dismantling of the culture that did have a hand in making me who I am, which is so meaningless in the face of people's lives being completely unearthed, uprooted, destroyed. Just this is not who we are. So where I'm from, I don't identify with that right now. And so I definitely am dying every day thinking, so do we make movies about this? Do we throw all of our money at it? Do we stop buying burgers in the daytime? What do we do about this? I can't fathom that it's happening until it doesn't happen. It's Los Angeles doesn't exist without all of us.
So she doesn't know what to do about it. And one of her suggestions is stop buying burgers in the daytime.
Well, she's associated with vampires.
So do you think she's just anti-daytime in general?
Super anti-daylight. Not about saving it. No savings time for daylight.
I just love how she goes, do we make movies about this? Do we throw all of our money at it? Do I not buy burgers during the daytime?
This is like not who we are. So like where I'm from, I don't identify with that right now. And so like I definitely am dying every day thinking, so do we make movies about this? Do we throw all of our money at it? Do we stop buying burgers in the daytime?
That'll work. And I feel like it would, the immigration enforcement operations would stop immediately in this country if people would just stop buying burgers in the daytime.
In the daytime.
Just wait until sunset, you bigots.
Burgers, evening meal.
It's dinner. It's not lunch food.
Fascists.
You stupid fascist. You stupid bigot waiting at the drive-thru for your lunch. What do you think this is? What the hell kind of answer is that? She also is like, everything's being uprooted and lives are being turned upside down. It's like, hey, lady, what about the victims of illegal alien crime? What is this? What you're going to say to Rachel Marin's mother? Like, I'm sorry you lost your daughter, but I'm not going to be buying burgers during the daytime. Like, what the hell kind of a statement is that? I don't really know what to do with Kristen Stewart other than I'm just going to boycott her.
Yeah, I think I need to make a public statement.
You need to go to KristenStewart.com, the website that you run.
I'm going to step down from ownership of the website and from my presidency position because I cannot support someone who does not like burgers in the daytime or who supports illegal immigrants.
I cannot, in good conscience, continue on as a member of the Kristen Stewart fan club with the blatant anti-burgerism that we've been seeing. It's got to stop.
Heard it here first. Chris Ancho.
All right, got another story for you here in the lightning round. Need another reason why California's Governor Gavin Newsom won't be president in 2028?
Always.
A convicted child predator that a judge once called the monster parents fear the most has now been cleared for release under California's elderly parole program. He's 64 years old.
You heard that right. A disgusting, vile child predator, serial child predator, is going to be released from prison because of Gavin Newsom and the Democrats' parole program. I'm of the opinion that we need harsher penalties for child predators. I think that we need the death penalty for child predators. And I tell you that because it's actually been proven via science that if you were assaulted as a child, you actually have a higher chance of becoming a predator yourself. So instead of letting these monsters back on the streets to reoffend and create more of these monsters, how about we cut it off at the root and we do wood chipper feet first, slow speed? It would have to go through Congress. I'm not talking about vigilante justice here, but I would just want to know who would vote against that. Serial predator being released on the streets of California.
His horrific crimes include 16 counts of kidnapping and child molestation.
Now, to be fair, they say it's a senior release program. This guy is 64. Like, this is not a 90-year-old man who is going to live out his days in a wheelchair in a nursing home. This is a 64-year-old man who could still very much reoffend against young children. And in California, they're like, nah, dude, you're good. Come on out, man. One of us. Is that what we're doing in California?
He was sentenced to 3 straight terms of 25 years to life, plus 20 years on top of that. The state's Corrections and Rehab Bureau detailing the process of his parole approval, telling Fox News Digital that on January 12th, 2026, Governor Gavin Newsom referred the case back to the Board of Parole Hearings for further review, meaning he didn't agree with this conclusion. Now, at that then February board meeting, the panel reaffirmed the decision, recommending that this monster receive parole.
whether or not California's Governor Gavin Newsom agreed with the decision, it's California Governor Gavin Newsom's program, the parole program, that was signed into law in California that is being used to let this monster go. So whether he agrees with it or not, the responsibility falls at his feet, and he's going to be to blame when this violent offender reoffends again. It's 11:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 11:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Chad Benson's in studio.
What's up?
What are you doing this weekend, man? You ready?
I'm
are you
ready.
hyped?
I'm ready. Play some pickleball. We're going to relax. That's pretty much about it. We're going to do some stuff with the kids probably. Date night tonight.
Let's go. We're doing baseball.
That's right. It's back.
Dude, I love Tennessee. Like being able to play baseball in February is just the best.
So are the kids? They're just starting practice games, right?
So yeah, we're doing scrimmages and we're doing practices. My boys are in. So Bishop, my 6-year-old, is in kid pitch in Murfreesboro Little League, and he's on the Astros. We got that back, so he's very excited. And then my other son Brooks, who's 8, he was very excited because he got the coach that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But the team, we grew up Red Sox fans in my house.
Uh-oh.
And we only root for 2 teams. We root for the Red Sox and whoever's playing the Yankees. And he got put on the Yankees.
Oh,
so
he's a Bronx Bomber.
I told him we can leave the hat and the shirt outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fine. That's
Absolutely.
great. That'll be good.
He's a Bronx Bomber.
Yeah, dude, the kids are super excited.
That's cool.
I can't wait.
That's a little bit more advanced, right? Like he's gone on a little bit of the travel-y team.
So he's got my 8-year-old has a travel team, and then he has a Murfreesboro Little League team. The travel team is the East Coast Sox, and then the Little League team is the Yankees.
Oh, the Yankees.
I know.
So tomorrow, is he practicing? He's already been practicing. You told me that. Is he playing like with his travel team tomorrow? So
tomorrow he's got a scrimmage with the travel team, and we'll be in Antioch.
Getting it on.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun.
What position is he playing?
So on the travel team, he's playing first base, and then on the Murfreesboro Little League team, I think he wants to play catcher, but we don't know the team yet, so I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
really?
We haven't even done a practice with the team. We know the coach, but I don't know where he's going to end up.
That's going to be so much fun.
Dude, I love it. It's Little League is probably the most fun I've had as a dad so far.
Really?
Like it's true. Like it is the best.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Like, yeah. No, I don't have the same thing with my son Jack. Because every time I go see him play, he gets kicked out of the game. It's like, Dad, they suspended me for 3 games. I'm like, well, I'm glad I paid for your tournament. That was 7 minutes.
He really got kicked out of a game?
Yeah, we went out to see him at Thanksgiving the year before last, and big tournament. 2 minutes in, a guy hits his goalie. Jack drops the gloves and just lays him out.
Let's go.
And then he's like, dude, they suspended me for the whole weekend.
But I mean, that's got to be awesome because then you got to see him excel at something, and then you got some free time out of the deal.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, I can't believe they kicked me out. I'm like, you know the rules.
Was it when I took my skate off and tried to stab him, you think I crossed the line?
Dude, he laid this guy out too, big time.
Dude, I love it. What are you talking about today on the show?
You know what? It's Friday. Well, who knows? We'll talk about a little DCS again. We're going to talk a little bit about probably some Epstein stuff, see how they see if old Bill walks out in the middle of it. Says,
how about Hillary screaming? She channeled her Benghazi that I'm hearing. She said, at what point, what difference does this make?
That's right. What difference does this make?
I think it makes a big difference. Chad's in next. Looking forward to the updates on the Epstein stuff and more. I'll be back on Monday. Love you.